Well, welcome to another episode of Sage Studio Podcast. Thanks for joining us today. And I'm so grateful to be joined by our two counselors today on the podcast. We have Miss Quirrell Pendergast and Allie Whalen. Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank
So
you.
glad to have you. So great. So, I really wanted to invite you on to the podcast to make sure that our Sage Oak community knows all about the amazing things that the two of you are doing and what an asset you are to our entire Sage Oak organization. So, I wanted to just start first. Coral, tell us a little bit about you. How did you come to Sage Oak? What's your story?
So I went to Riverside City College after high school, and then I transferred to Cal State San Bernardino. And I took some communications classes, which I fell in love with, and decided to major in communications and was just really drawn to communication between people, like relationships and things like that. And so decided to become a school counselor. And I started way back when, about 18 years ago, in the Paris district as a school counselor. And I was a high school counselor for 18 years out in Paris, and I loved it. I got to work with all different kinds of students and do social emotional counseling, academic counseling, college and career counseling. But it's a very high need area out there, a lot of trauma, a lot of transient, kids moving in and out all the time and really needing to recover credits and things like that, first generation students going to college. So it was exciting and I loved it. But when you have a caseload of 500 students, 400 to 500 students that you're responsible for their transcripts, you're responsible, if they want to go to college or just their social emotional needs, it's a lot. And you have a line outside your door every day of kids crying or kids dealing with, really intense stuff that it's really demanding on you. And it's a very fast paced, high need job. And I was commuting 2 hours a day
Oh
for
my gosh.
18 years.
That's
And so, yeah, over COVID, when we were at home for a little while, I was like, wait a minute, what am I doing here? I love it, but I think this could look differently and I could still really love what I'm doing. And so I have a dear friend that works for Sage Oak that was like, hey, why don't you come work for Sage Oak? There's a counseling position open. And I'm like, whoa, that would be totally different. Like in the virtual world, this is so different than I was doing before. And I've never been able to work with the little ones, which I was really excited for that opportunity. And so I came to Sage Oak this year. It's my first year here. And I love it. I love being able to be proactive and really work with kids ahead of time and teach them the skills necessary for when they do hit crisis or when they are overwhelmed or stressed out, and just be able to teach them those skills and produce really great resources for parents and families because you have the time when you're at home to kind of do that. You're not constantly have kids out your door.
Sure.
It's really been a fun change for me in my career. I love it here, and it allows me also more time with my family. I have two sons. I'm married. I've been with my husband since I was 17 years old.
Oh my
So
gosh.
faithful sweethearts, and which is fabulous. He's my best friend, and we have two sons who keep us very busy. They are very involved in sports and all kinds of things in the community. And so I love that now I get to take them to school and pick them up from school and still do the work I love, counseling. It's just an awesome career. It's never a dull moment, that's for sure, huh, Allie?
And how about you, Allie? You've been with Sage Oak for a little while, right?
I have, yeah. I've been with Egypt since 2017. I actually went to UCLA as an undergraduate, and then I got my teaching credential in Master's of Education at Concordia University, Irvine. I started teaching at a charter school, middle school in downtown Los Angeles. So that was a very high needs population as well. A lot of kids, like Coral described, in Paris. And I quickly realized I had the content knowledge to teach kids academically. However, I lacked the skills to address many of their social emotional concerns. So I went back to school and I got my school counselor credential because I really wanted to address that whole student, the whole kid. So I was in the classroom for a lot of years and then joined Sage Oak in 2017 as a teacher. And then the door opened for a part-time counseling position and then a full-time counseling position. And I jumped in. I've always loved being able to teach kids, but teaching kids in this capacity is different. And I love the quote, teaching kids is fine, but teaching kids what counts is best.
Oh, I
And
love that.
As a counselor, I get to teach kids that they count every day, that they matter, they're important. I believe in them. And I just want to be another asset for them, that someone who's cheering for them and encouraging them. So that's kind of my story as far as professionally. Personally, I also have three boys. I'm a mom of boys as well. So we have the boy thing in common. Our boys are very similar age. So it's awesome because a lot of what I do, I learn and teach and speak as a mom. I see
Mhm.
I see what's happening with our students, and I do these workshops, and I'm speaking to myself and learning, and that's pretty cool that I get to take that knowledge and utilize it on my own family and my own nose. My husband is a high school history teacher.
Okay.
So a lot of educators in our family. My mom was a teacher. My dad was a school principal. I kind of grew up in the education realm, and lots of different hats within that field, but I definitely feel like it's in my blood. So we
It
like
comes across. Yeah, I mean, it just comes across. It's like you, both of you, you're so energetic and you are so excited and passionate about what you do. I mean, it's just so easy to see it just like flowing through you. So I love hearing more about your stories of how you came to become counselors. And it just is such a natural fit from the outside looking in. And it's really fun to hear kind of like how, you know, you made your journey into counseling, especially maybe not thinking at first that that's what you were going to do, but you just found a way and it
Absolutely.
totally works. Well, that's so great. We are so grateful to have you here at Sage Oak. And I know that our parents are really grateful for you as well. I know that our parents, or excuse me, our students are also really grateful for you, those that have had a chance to work with you. But there's a lot of our families that I think aren't quite sure what a counselor does, especially in this unique model where we aren't, in brick and mortar buildings. We meet virtually, via Zoom most of the time. How do you support our students? What does a counseling role look like in Sage Oak?
You want to take I'll take how about I take the high school and you take little ones, Allie?
Sure.
So
Perfect.
at the high school level, I'm work with the high school students. And so part of my role is to support them in social emotional needs. So that could be through small groups where we have a topic or say we're working on anxiety and that's something that a high school student would struggle with. Then I can get a group, maybe 6 to 8 students together, and we can work through like what are some of the coping strategies? How do we deal with this? What are things we all have in common that we're working on? And kind of lead them through that as well as just social emotional learning in classrooms. So I push into the freshman seminar classes, the sophomore, junior, and senior seminar classes, and do SEL lessons, some of them on a monthly basis, some of them on a weekly basis to equip kids with the skills of what do we do in life when things get hard? And how do I give forgiveness or how do I have courage? Those different kinds of things. So you'll see me in some of your classrooms working on those skills with you guys. And then I also provide academic, college, and career support. So when it comes times to, hey, what kind of classes should I be taking? This is my goal. I want to go to this college. I'm the one here to help you walk you through, hey, this is the classes you need to take. Here's the community service or volunteer work you should be doing for your application. I'll help you actually fill out your college applications, your financial aid applications, and all those things. I'm here to support in the whole college and career realm. And so that's where I get to work with a lot of students at the high school level, and I love it. And I also do assist in the PLA program with Allie doing groups and classes for the younger ones, but I'll let Allie talk about kind of what that looks like for the littler ones.
Yeah, so I think just in the big picture sense, school counseling is a general education service. It is not a special education service. We want to be clear and just so you know that like we are available for all stage of students. You don't need to qualify. There's no, instructional funds needed for any of our classes or services. As Coral mentioned, like there are three kind of domains of a school counselor: the social emotional learning, the academic, and then the college and career. So, as for all of our students, we do offer social emotional learning classes, and we talk about self awareness and social awareness and self regulation and decision making. And we have a curriculum that we are going through. We also do push out independent study, self paced lessons for students. So, if they can't attend our classes, we want to make sure that they have the resources to be able to utilize some of this social emotional learning curriculum at home. We also offer executive functioning classes. So I know executive functioning is kind of a big word, but planning and organization, time management, making sure that kids know how to set goals. So that's kind of that academic piece of the puzzle in our job. And then in the college and career, being able to assist kids in being able to start thinking about what it is that they're looking for. Actually, this coming spring, we are going to offer a college and career class specifically for middle school students and kind of get them prepared and talk about their interests and what maybe would they like to pursue, maybe what kind of activities, experiences they should be looking at now to help them support their goals in the future. We don't work in isolation. We're working constantly with parents, other teachers, administrators, making sure that we're supporting kids, making sure that we're advocating for kids. And also, if we can't do something, if we can't meet their needs, we want to make sure that we're referring them and collaborating with others outside of Sage Oak so they're getting the services they need. Sage Oak counselors, all school counselors are not therapists. So we're not trained to be mental health providers in this psychological or psychiatric sense. We're looking to, help students with solutions and coping. So if we are working with students on a short-term basis, like, let's say again, individual counseling for those 6 weeks, and we notice like there are bigger concerns there, maybe they're persistent or prevalent for longer periods of time, we can work with the families to make sure that they get outside assistance so that they can get the help they need to.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because I think that's a really important distinction. And that I love that you also too said that counseling services provided by Sage Oak are open to anyone and that anyone can go there to get that support. And that kind of ties into what you said, Coral, about being proactive. Like you want to start meeting with students now to develop these really healthy habits, right? Healthy habits with, kind of some of that self-doubt that's so natural, for people and adults as well as students to be thinking, when they're learning new things or going through challenges, sometimes they just have that self doubt that they can't overcome something or they feel like they're not going to be as good as someone else, next to them or another peer. And getting a chance to have conversations in a more proactive way before that kind of thought takes over them is really critical. And it sounds like these support groups that you are mentioning are really helpful in helping kids maybe even identify, right? Like maybe they don't even realize that the thoughts that they are having, where those are coming from and why are they having those thoughts. And so I think that's really a great thing that you can offer those students. Just again, being a proactive and being in those groups. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's really important to know too that we're here as a resource. So like Allie said, we're like command central for resources. So if you're struggling with your family and something or with your student, you're like, I don't even know what to do about this or where to get help. Making an appointment with us and just touching base and saying, here's what we're struggling with. We can help you brainstorm ideas. And either if it's something we can help with, by meeting with your student, like Allie said, okay, let's help get them organized. Let's help them jumpstart into a way. Or if it's not, then we can connect you to those bigger resources outside of Sage Oak. But just know that we're here to kind of help you navigate that road when you don't even know what to do or what you're dealing with. Like we're the perfect person to sit down with and work with you on that.
For sure. And so let's talk about that for a second, because I know that you guys put out a newsletter that gets emailed to families. How often does that come?
Monthly. We put it out monthly. And as you said, it's emailed directly to families in their inbox.
So that's perfect. So they should be looking for that monthly newsletter from the Counselors Connection, right? Is that what it's called? Counselors Connection? Okay,
Absolutely.
so that's coming out every month. And what can they expect to find in that email?
So in that email, the Counseling Connection newsletter, you're going to have your SEL self-paced lessons. So Coral and I put together content that parents can do with their elementary, middle, or high school student at home. We usually record just a kind of a quick review of it so you know what you're getting, but it is intended for you to be able to complete independently. We also include kind of a quick tip. Like, so each month we pick a topic and we talk about it for students. And again, we record those. So students have like a 5-10 minute little lesson. This month it was on motivation and goal setting. So parents can push and play a little 10-minute, 5-minute lesson on goal setting for each level of students. And then we also kind of share a little bit more of parent information. We make parents our audience and share with them more information about that quick tip topic and put together and present a parent workshop. We also do offer that workshop in the afternoons, usually Thursday afternoons at 4 o'clock about once a month. We'll be with parents and be able to deliver that information in a live format. but let parents know kind of what to expect, how to support their student with that tip and give them some more information along the way.
That is so awesome. It's such an amazing resource. And for those of you that may have missed it and want to see where is that email and what does that Counselors Connection newsletter look like, we will throw a link to it in our show notes. You can always find these newsletters on the Sage Oak website. If you go to sageoak.education and then you go to the resources tab and then you go to the counseling resources tab, that's where you can find a lot of the information there. And in addition, you guys also have an interactive classroom that is on the website. So, talk to me a little bit about that. What is the interactive classroom that you have, and what can parents expect to find there?
So our Bitmoji classroom, you'll see Allie and I there, and there's all different sections of it. So they have a Meet Your Counselor where it talks a little bit about us and our contact information if you need to get a hold of one of us. There's a counselor request form where if you'd like us to contact you because you're dealing with something and you need some help, you can definitely fill out the counselor request form. And then it has links to our SEL classes and academic classes. And so Allie and I both run social emotional learning classes, which kids can sign up for on Mondays. And we start a new one each quarter. And then, like Allie said, there's executive functioning classes, which are more of those school skills, that organization, time management. If your kid's struggling with that, we can kind of walk them through the necessary tools and give them a bunch of resources to help them be successful in those areas. So our support classes and our academic classes, there's sign up sheets on our Bitmoji classroom. And then all the quick tips. So every month when we're recording these videos of quick tips and putting together presentations and resources for you, the quick tips and the student resources and the parent workshops are all listed on there as well, that you can go back at any time and listen to any one of. And then we do have other like college and career information, graduation, information that the seniors may need, as well as hotline numbers, websites, resources for all different types of topics that you may need. It's kind of our hub where you can click on anything and access all the information that we're putting together monthly. It's all located in one spot.
Oh, that's so perfect. That makes it so easy so that parents know if they're driving right now or listening and they're multitasking that they know like, hey, later on I know where to go back and find all those resources. So good. If parents wanted to schedule like a one-on-one appointment with you, is that possible? Do they go through their TF or their EA or their website? How does that work?
No, so absolutely. So all the above.
Okay.
Right? So yeah, they can email us directly, and so that would work. They could go onto the website, down the counselor request form, complete that. We also have teachers emailing us or completing that and saying, please reach out to this parent, and students emailing us directly and completing that form too. So it's really any way you want to get in touch with us, your pitch, whatever, it's fine. We're not picky, so we just want you to know that we're here to support our stage of community. And so any way that you want to reach out would be true.
I love that. Okay, so January, the main focus was goal setting, which was great. And I do love how you differentiate. You have certain presentations and goal setting strategies for your, younger students, and then you have a different type for the high school students. Can parents get a little sneak peek about what's coming up next month? What's happening in the counseling world for the month of February?
Yeah. So February, with our Valentine's Day around the corner, we actually are going to talk about the five love languages. So that is a book by Gary Chapman. In fact, it's a series. He has all kinds of books, on relationships and marriages, but they also talk about how we can be aware of how that looks in children. So it's very important that we know not only our own love language, but other people's love languages, so we know how to fill up their love tank. Obviously, as humans, we all need the emotional need to be loved. So to be able to be aware of what it is that we can do to help our children feel that love. Is it using words of affirmation? Is it using acts of service? Perhaps it's receiving gifts. Perhaps it is physical touch, but talking with their parents through that lens of how to ensure that they're filling up their child's love tank and being able to approach them in a way that makes them feel their very best. So all kind of common sense, but I think that we'll put a spin on it that will help parents look at it in a way that they haven't perhaps seen as homeschooling families.
I think so. I have no doubt about that. I'm sure parents will definitely be feeling the love and feeling totally equipped to work with their kids through those presentations and those worksheets as well. So awesome. Well, I just want to thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast. I feel like in just this short amount of time, we've really been able to learn so much about all of the different ways that you support our families, our students, and all of the different resources that are available to parents and to our students. Again, if you want to find those resources, you can go to www.sageoak.education. Go to the resources section, go into the counseling tab, and you'll have all those resources there. And I will put that link in the show notes, as well as a link to the most recent newsletters that parents can find that as well. Any other thoughts before we head out for today from either of you?
I think just thanks. Like Allie and I love to work with not only just kids, but families too. Like parents, if you're struggling and you want to meet with us for tips and ideas and resources, like we're here to support the whole family at Sage Oak. And we really are just passionate about what we do and we're excited to help in any way that we can.
I love it. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. I can't wait to have you back. I hope you will come back to the Stage Studio and join me again.
Thanks, Tiffany.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at Coral and Allie's counseling resources. I'm here on the sageoak.education website. And if you navigate over to resources on the drop down menu, you're going to see Counseling Corner. Click on Counseling Corner and click on Counseling and Mental Health. That'll take you to the main counseling and mental health page. There you can learn a little bit more about the role of a school counselor, the counseling mission statement, and the virtual counseling classroom. Now, this is where you are going to find a ton of Coral and Allie's resources. So you're going to click right here where it says enter the virtual classroom, and you'll see this really cute Bitmoji classroom pops up. And each of these little clipboards back here are actually a button that will take you to more resources. So play around with those and see what they have for you as far as different resources on student clubs or graduation or career paths or even things that are a little bit more serious that you might want some support with, such as hotline, suicide prevention, safety information, all those things. Okay, so on this section where it says meet your counselor, that's where you're going to go in. You're going to find out a little bit more about Allie and about Coral. And then if I go back, close this one out here, go back here, and I go to the counselor request form. This is where you can fill out the form and request an appointment. You just click here to make an appointment. It'll take you to their Google form page and you can fill that page out there. So lots of good things over here in the virtual counseling classroom. So be sure to check that out. All right. The other thing I wanted to show you was on the episode today, we talked about their counseling newsletter, and I wanted to show you what that looks like. This comes in the Sage News that is sent out to families, and every month they will send out a counseling connection. So look for that in the Sage News. Sage News comes out weekly, but their counseling connection will be featured in the Sage News once a month. And it's a different theme every month. And in this one for January of 2023, it was all about goal setting. And so you can find links to their presentations in a few ways. You can click on anything that is hyperlinked here in blue, or you can click on the flyer link. And the flyer link has everything really organized. This is for the live parent workshop. So if you wanted to find out information for the Zoom link or how to sign up, you could do that there. Let me go back to their newsletter. And I want to also show you some of the resources that they have. So if you go into this link, you're going to see that it pulls up a goal setting presentation for the TK through, I think TK through 8th grade students. And along with the presentation, they also put in an audio recording here, the video and audio recording. So you can click on that. It'll take just a minute to load. That's a great way for you to just get a quick presentation from Coral and Allie. And this one's like 3 minutes long. It'll walk you through the whole presentation. And this is something that you can do with your kids as well. Walk them through the presentation, take a minute to pause the video, follow the steps, set the goals. It makes really going through these little counseling lessons easy, fun, and doable. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that was there. And I've also linked it to our show notes here. So all right, be sure to go check out those amazing resources from Coral and Allie. Again, you can find them right here on www.sageoak.education. Go to the resources section, click on the counseling corner, and you'll find it there. All right, thanks.